What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today, we would normally be doing the episode and a live feed update, but we really only had the episode yesterday. The live feeds have been down for quite a long period of time. Anyone who's not aware, Luke was removed from the game. We haven't had the live feeds return since that announcement took place. I'm recording this now after the episode, and if we do get it live feeds eventually at night, I will add kind of an addendum onto this video at the end, kind of talking about anything we get from it. But as of right now, we don't have live feeds. So let's kind of jump into what happened in the episode. Where we left off, we saw Reilly win HOH. She had the ability to then save 2 of the 4 nominees that were put on the block by way of losing the first competition. She saved Cory and Jared. That left Felicia and Kirsten up on the block, meaning one of them would have to be saved by the veto in order to have a chance to stay this week. Then that kind of takes us into the fallout. Obviously, Felicia and Kirsten are not happy. They are not happy to be up there, but Reilly's doing her best to kind of reassure them. Like, I mean, what was I supposed to do? I had to leave somebody up. I had to save somebody. I only could save 2 of you. She tells Felicia that, hey, like, you're the pawn. Don't worry about it. Like, you're not going home, which kind of reassures her, but also she's like, wait a minute. I love her so much. She does not take any BS in that house, and she will almost always just say whatever she's thinking, which makes for great feeds and great television. So Felicia, keep it up. That kind of takes us to the forming of a lot of the alliances we saw throughout the week. We saw the formation of the handful, as well as kind of the family style, but I don't even remember if they actually dropped the family style for the 8 group that was around the handful. With the handful, you had Reilly, Jag, Cameron, Matt, and Blue made out the 5 with them. So Reilly, Jag, Cameron, Matt, and Blue. Then you had the family style alliance, which was those 5, plus Cory, Jared, and America, making kind of an 8-person alliance. We then also saw Jared giving that info to his mother, Cirie. But to be honest, we didn't really even need him to give them that information. They made it seem like that info was a lot more important in figuring out that the other side was a thing, but they were already pretty much fully aware that the other side was doing stuff up in the HOH room. Hisam had spotted them going up there when they originally did it. So kind of as like a way, they were like, oh, look, like he gave them the information, and then this kind of, helped them form what they needed to do. Yes and no, they probably would have had that information in the first place, but getting it fully confirmed is still huge in its own right. If you're just going off of speculation, you might assume that people are working together, but when you get it full on confirmed, that can really just solidify your own side, because there may still be questions on your side, like, are they really working together? Maybe I can slip in. But when you get that confirmation, it's huge and can really lock in your side, which is kind of what happened. We saw the Bye Bye Bitches form. We had Felicia, Cirie, Mecole, Bowie, and Izzy all in there in the comics bedroom. And this also does confirm, too, who is in the Bye Bye Bitches. There was a little bit of question. I was under the impression, as well as a few others who agreed with me, that Hisam was not fully fledged in the Bye Bye Bitches. He may now be at this point. They may have kind of just pulled him in as kind of the full-on honorary member and made him officially a part of it at this point. But at least when it was officially formed, Hisam was not a part of it. It was just the girls in that back comic room, and that was it. And actually, even Mecole's not in the comic room either, but she was a part of that group when it was made. Izzy, does Izzy sleep in that room too? I think Izzy does sleep in that room. But again, my point being, he was not officially involved in that. It was just kind of a girls group. But he did quickly become a very strong ally with them, especially when they had him getting the information from Cirie, but again, he was just as much on the information that night on the feeds as well. So he kind of knew that something was up, and he was kind of pulled over to their side. Other than that, we can kind of jump into the veto competition, which, by the way, when Hisam was kind of talking to Cirie, he was like, well, listen, if there's a group of 8 up there and I'm not in it, I have to win this veto to save myself and make sure I'm safe, because if they're up to something, who knows? I have no idea what's going to happen. And that takes us to the veto competition. It was Hisam, Blue, and Cameron who ended up being pulled for the comp. It was a really fun one. It was that kind of one where they have to stack up the pieces in this big, almost, it's not really a puzzle, but they're odd shapes that you have to stack up on a small podium, and it has to stay there for you to hit your button. There was a little bit of a twist in it this year, because a lot of times they'll have to run back and press a button or leave the podium to do something, or it would fall. In this one, just randomly, they would pull them. They would just yank them, and they called them atomic wedgies. It was like they were being pulled from the underpants. And it was quite fun to watch. I really enjoyed watching Felicia fly. She seemed like she was miserable, that poor woman. But it was fun to watch. And just in general, I enjoyed the competition. Hisam does end up pulling off the victory. He had a really smart little strategy that I also saw Mecole using. I don't know if, or not Mecole, Kirsten using. Apologies. But I don't know if she came up with it originally or he was the one who was doing it first. But they were putting roses on the platform just to kind of make that base wider and give them more area to put the flowers on as they stack them. And Hisam was able to pull off the win despite his very, very shaky hands. He decided not to use the power of veto. It really had no benefit for him in his game, because the only thing that could happen is somebody that he knows isn't in that group of 8 would be ending up on the block next to whoever he took down. So it really didn't benefit him to use it. Keeps nominations the same, and that is where the end episode calls it a close. Tomorrow we will see possibly the eviction. We actually don't know if there will be a live eviction tomorrow. There's potential that it could be canceled now that Luke is no longer in the house, again being removed. But there also is a very strong possibility that it will just go on like it was planned. Potentially any buyback that maybe they had planned pre-jury is now off the table, and they can just get rid of that potential option, and that will keep them on schedule. Maybe they'll add in another double eviction or a buyback to kind of keep them on track in some way, if because they do have this 100-day mark that they had to hit. We just do not know how things will turn out. Again, still do not have feeds up for any more information other than Luke being removed. Check out my other 2 videos on the topic. We did the first live feed update on it, where we could talk about it initially, and then we did another one where he was officially removed. And there is one thing I just wanted to kind of say too, and I think it was really great too, of how we can talk about these things here on the channel. And it's not a oh, you're totally wrong, or oh, this is you're like, how could you have this opinion? We really try and make it very inclusive here, where hey, just because you don't agree with the things I'm saying, or just because you don't agree with what somebody's saying in the comments, doesn't inherently make you wrong about your opinion. It's how we learn and grow and hear from each other and develop deeper understandings of the world around us, is by hearing people out and listening to other opinions. One thing I definitely wanted to make very clear, I was not trying to defend Luke in any way of his usage of the word. The usage of the word period should not be allowed inside the game, which if we bring that up as well, there is maybe a potential other house guest that should be removed if we're considering the word is a no-go no matter what. But that's a topic for something else, because there are many of you that would agree with that and many of you who would not. But That's a topic for another discussion. If that becomes a bigger news, maybe we can delve into it. But my point was that I felt like context and intent always is an important thing, no matter what you're talking about. Good, bad, objectively, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing something, the intent behind it always should have at least a little note attached to it. Example, you could give to a needy person on the street. You could give them money. That could have a very good intention. There could be somebody else who could do the exact same thing, but they're recording it for profit. You can see how neither of them are really a problem, right? If you are giving money to the needy, it's objectively a good thing. The content and the intention behind them are very different. One is a selfless act where you're just trying to help somebody else. The other is, oh, if I do this, people are going to think I'm a good person. So you can kind of see where I'm going with that a little bit. It's not apples and oranges. Nothing in this world is. But I thought it was important to just note, I do not think this was coming from a place of hurtfulness where he was trying to hurt any individual person's feelings or offend. He's just an idiot. I think we can all agree Luke is an idiot. He should not have said this. He gave off the idiot vibe on the feeds. We were all fully aware that he is not giving off brightest bulbs vibes to any of us. He's ignorant at the very least, ignorant of using that word and not understanding that words have a power no matter what or who is saying them when. And I think it's a very clear distinction, though, between that and him using those words for the purpose of hurting someone else. And I just wanted to make sure that was a thing that was distinctly clear when we were talking about the topic, because, again, I don't think Luke is, well, I don't usually curse on YouTube much. I don't think he's an asshole. I think he's an idiot. And there's a difference there. The assholes, we are rightful to go, what is wrong with you? The idiots, it's our job as not idiots to make them better people. And that goes for everyone, right? Like, it is our responsibility, I feel, to try and make the world a better place any way we can. And that's why, for me, I feel like intent, no matter what it is, it's not just in this issue. I think in general in life, intent is always something you should look at, because even if something appears like an objectively good act, sometimes there's nefarious means behind it and nefarious motives that you aren't aware of, and vice versa. Just because something appears bad, there might not have been ill intent to it. It doesn't change the cause or the effect that those actions brought on, right? The motive and the intent behind his words do not change how they affect people, but they should affect how you think about him going forward. Is he redeemable in any way? I think so. I think this is not a he hates people type of an issue. I think he's an idiot type of an issue, and I think we can all agree that he's an idiot. Which Luke, by the way, hope you have best of luck in your future endeavors. But I don't think any of us disagree with him leaving. That said, there is potentially another issue going around, which it could be a little bit of a hot topic. But I think judging by the comments on the other videos, I think many of you would agree as well. It shouldn't be said by anyone at any time, at any point. And I think a big thing that I was getting from a lot of comments was the idea of desensitizing it, right? The more you allow it to be said, the worse it is. And the more chance there are for others to use it. So I think you really just have to kind of nip it in the bud and get rid of these kind of situations before they become normalized and make it even worse. So yeah, that's where we're at for now. No live feeds until we find out more. Hopefully the feeds come back sooner than later. Again, if they do come back before I post this video in the morning, I'll add a little addendum to it. But if not, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I also really I appreciate you all so much during times like these because look, I am very ill-equipped to be the person leading these discussions with you all. Whether it's this or anything other than whether or not someone should use the veto, I'm very ill qualified. I'm just an Ori here on the internet talking about Big Brother. But I try and I don't know, make this a place where we can all not just talk and grow, but have these difficult conversations when they do come up, because that's part of Big Brother. And it's part of what makes this show great. One of my favorite things that I didn't even really mention in the episode, one of my favorite things from this episode was the conversation we had between Hisam. Bowie was there too, but it was mainly between Hisam and Jag, just talking about like, hey, when you're like the first, you can do like one of two things. You can, reaffirm those stereotypes, or you can help people learn and understand you're more, right? That you're more than that you're not just, whatever stereotypes people think of. And that was always been a big part of Big Brother, is this social interaction where people from every corner of the world or not the world, but every corner of the United States who have lived different lives, experienced different things, have different values, come together, can not only compete over a boatload of money, but also come together and work and cooperate and live together in this house. It's this extra little that makes Big Brother special. It's that just that little bit of sprinkle on top. And it's one of the things I love about Big Brother. It's terrible when it goes this way sometimes, but it's also amazing when it can go the right way. And you got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the good with the bad. But once again, thank you guys again so much for watching. If there is an update, I'll add that onto this video. But other than that, I will see you next time.